that's what we ended up with out there, testing my little theory using that Kimber there. Let's see, how can we talk about this? The other day we ended up with test 7, I think it was part 2, we call that confusion. And I had based some numbers that I was gonna, progress to estimate, what I needed to do to get this average of 922 up around 950 or 960. Let's see, we went to Eli. Where did I go to him? Right, where the heck am I? Oh, there it is. We went to Eli to get some suggestions. And quick loads, hey, why don't you look out where you're standing? And Eli, with quick loads at 7.8 grains, said we ought to get 954 feet per second. Well, I did a progression with that RedNeck formula I showed you guys. I call it RedNeck horsepower, but it's really more like a RedNeck efficiency of a powder. And that turned out to be 122.9 feet per second per grain based on that first time, or the first chrono results at 922 average. So then we progressed it on up, took a look at it, 7.6, 7.7, 7.8. At 7.8 grains, I was expecting to see about 958, and like I said, quick loads came back and said I should be seeing 954. So that's a fair enough bet to try it again. Only problem is by using this 206 grain, that's a MP cast. I was just using it to get the numbers because I had some of those. I had a bunch of them there in that container. By doing that, those were seated at 1.238. The other discrepancy is they're 206 grains. Well, I don't put as much emphasis on the weight when there's just a few grains difference as I do in our cartridge overall length. You know how we're always warned about watch that seating depth. In this next test, let's see, it was first this one. I got 1,002 feet per second trying the 7.8 grains. And those were seated at 1.235. This number right here. Now, it's not a lot deeper, 3,000 deeper, but it's deeper. And since I've never done any kind of testing on my own to see just what small changes in seating depth will do to the speed and do to increased pressure, I have no idea what to expect from this. What we ended up getting was 127.48 feet per second per grain. That's that little RedNeck efficiency formula I showed you. It's a ratio. So in this test, I had 2 of them that didn't register. So I figured it's a bum number. I mean, it's not as accurate as it could be. So I loaded them up again. Same thing, 7.8 grains. This time we got an average of 999 feet per second, and it clocked them all. So we're happy with that. Turns out that this one's 128 feet per second per grain versus the 127.48. So I've been thinking about all this, and I decided last night, so I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna average those 2 numbers, and I came up with a 127.74 feet per second per grain, and run a set of cartridges at 7.6 grains and I should see about 970.8 feet per second. Well, you just saw that, or I'll run that right now. You can see me shooting over the chronograph. All right, let's see if we can get some numbers here and see if this little theory of mine works out. Here we go. 7.62 grains of power pistol. All right, so now looking at that third run, 7.62 grains. The average is 975. All the numbers are, I had a high of 966, a low of 962, average 975, extreme spread 34, standard deviation 15. Not real bad numbers, not bad at all. 127.9 feet per second per grain. Well, this is estimated here, when I average the two of them, because these are significantly higher numbers than 122 feet per second per grain that we got out of extending what this did. I hope I'm not losing you guys. I'm about lost. Anyway, so doing that, I thought I'd see 970.8. I actually got 975. And it turns out that that's 127.9 feet per second per grain. That is very close to what those two averaged. So I think perhaps I may have a candidate here for the gel sitting there waiting on us. And I may run this one through the test tube, see how they mushroom. And then I had the thought, maybe I better take a look at the BHN value of that slug and of the other slug. This is straight out of the pot, and this one here has been cast and PC'd in the oven. Now today, this one measures 8.7 BHN. The slug today, which is just the raw material, hasn't been heat treated or put through the oven in any way. This one's at 8.7, and it's been holding at 8.7 since the 22nd of this month. So you remember this, I'm showing you the BHN value and the days that have progressed and all the times I've checked it. The red line is the PC'd cast. The pencil line is just that slug straight out of the pot. Well, today, 6 days later than the last time we looked at the hardness, that PC'd slug has dropped from 9.8 to 8.7. And the regular slug here of the material straight out of the pot, that's held its own in the last 6 days. That's kind of a surprise to me, because like I told you, I thought that 9.8 would probably just carry on, and I didn't think it would drop down anymore, but here it's already dropped to the value of the lead that came out of the pot, even though it had kind of a half-ass heat treatment to it by getting polycoated. Here it is 20 days later on the 28th. No, I started on the 8th, and now it's the 28th, and it's already come back down to what the pot value is. So this kind of a big surprise. I'm going to have to think about this some more if I want to run this high speed, this 975 feet per second penta through that, because the pentas open up real easy, and I'm afraid I'm going to be on the high side of the window there. And another thing, if I would have done a progression, where the hell did I do those numbers? Here it is. If I would have run the original 7.5 grains at this new seating depth and at the new feet per second per grain ratio, I would have got 958, and we were looking for 950 to 960. So I may go on back to 7.5 grains and do it again, but the only problem is I'm running out of these round nose pentas here of this batch. This is the 17-to-1 batch. So I've got to have 5 to go through the test tube, and I got to have 5 to go through the gel. So it looks like that leaves me about 16 of them to mess with. So should I go back and rerun the speed trials again at 7.5 grains at the new seeding depth to see if I will get this number here, something like 958? I don't know. Gonna have to think about it. Gonna have to find me a cold beer and mull on this some more. So that's where we are up to, I guess this is Friday, isn't it? I don't know. Anyway, that's what we got. I'm happy with that. I didn't miss the target. That's worth a gold star. Okay, boys, take it easy out there. It's getting nutty in these cities. Watch them families. Watch out for yourself. Keep that head on a swivel and watch that 6.
Lazy bone, sleeping in the sun. How you expect to get your day's work done? You never get your day's work done. Sleeping in the noonday sun. Lazy bone, sleeping in the shade.